Namaskar. I hope all we people are in the circle of one important S5 formula. What is that? Social distancing, stay home, stay safe, stay calm, stay positive. See, this positivity is very, very important. In order to bring that positive attitude in your mind, we, the teachers, we are doing our level best to give you the lessons, and you people are keep on learning. I hope you people are doing that. Last two lessons I discussed. Number one, the story of village Palambur. Number two, in history, the French Revolution. I hope all you people thoroughly revised that topic and also wrote all the question answers I had given. With that great hope, I would like to move to the next, that is, branch of the subject, geography. Today we are going to discuss about, in geography, lesson number 2, the physical features of India. So today our topic is physical features of India. This topic we are going to discuss. Here, what are the points we have to remember and we have to deal into? Before I would like to enter into the topic, where are we living? I am ready to ask one question, that where are we living? Ram, can you give the answer? Where are you living? Yes, madam. We are living in the Andaman Nicobar Islands. Yes, I got the correct answer from you. And Sudha, can you tell me that your father came from which area? Yes, Rajasthan. Jaisalmer. Okay. What type of area that is? Yes, I am getting the answer, desert. Then another, Rahim, can you tell me that which part your father came from? Nagaland. Okay. So I am getting the idea that your father coming from a hilly area or a mountain area full of forest. And Santosh, can you give me where your father or your parents came from or your forefathers came from? Madam, from Banaras. Yes. That your father or your forefathers came from the plain area. And now Sita, can you give me the answer that where your forefathers came from? From Chhattisgarh. Acha, Plateau region. Now, you people got the idea that where we people are living, and then in that area or from which part of that is really feature we people belonging to. In order to understand that, we have to turn over the pages of geography dealing with a lesson, the physical features of India. One side, we people are mesmerized how all these landforms came into. One side we are having the hardest rocks like marble, which has been used for the construction of our most important monument, Taj Mahal. Another side we are having very soft sandstone, which we are using in making the talcum powder. Why such variations? Some minerals are hard, some minerals are lustrous, some minerals are dull. Why such a variations? And again, in India we are having different types of soil ranging from alluvial, black, red, laterite, desert and mountain soil. So India is a land of 6 types of soils. So India is a land of variations. India is a land of pluralism. India is a land of complexities. Okay. How are we people getting all these different type of physical features? What are the reasons responsible for that? There we are having the very important activities. Number one, because of geological process, the processes which are going on naturally, such a process responsible. Along with what? Weathering. Next, erosion. Number three, accumulation or deposition. One side weathering is going on, another side the uppermost layer of the soil is removed through the process of erosion, another side the soil accumulated or deposited. So because of these reasons, we are having different types of relief features. But the most accepted theory, what is that accepted theory? The plate tectonic theory. It is folding, faulting and volcanic. Now after this clarification, you are having the beautiful map of India in front of you. What you people are getting into? Number one, the topmost, the northern side, you are having the great Himalayan mountains. Next, in green shaded portion, you are having the great northern plains. And at the south, we are having the peninsular plateau. And another side, in the west, northwest, we are having the Thar desert. And the south again, we are having western and eastern Ghats, western, eastern coastal plains, and our two beautiful island groups. One is in the Bay of Bengal, that is our Andaman Nicobar Islands, another side Lakshadweep in the Arabian Sea. Now the very important theory we are going to discuss about the plate tectonics. The earth crust is made up of 7 tectonic plates. Just you see the map, then you will get the idea. Pacific plate, North American plate, South American plate, African plate, Eurasian plate, Indo-Australian plate and Antarctica plate. Okay, how many tectonic plates are there? Yes, 7 tectonic plates are there. Once again, Pacific plate, North American plate, South American plate, Eurasian plate, African plate, Indo-Australian plate and Antarctica plate. These 7 plates, they are having some movements. Because of that, we are getting different types of activity, just like number one, that is what? Folding, faulting and then volcanic activity. There are 3 types of tectonic plates movements. What are they? Number one, convergent movement. Number 2, divergent. Number 3, transforming. In order to understand that, let us see that what is the meaning of convergent boundary or convergent movement. Just you think it over, these two are the 2 tectonic plates. When these 2 tectonic plates are moving towards each other, that type of movement is called as convergent movement. Are you getting into? 2 tectonic plates, they are coming closer to one another. Such a type of movement is called convergent and boundary is called as convergent boundary. This is number one. Then what do you mean by divergent? Just opposite to that, when 2 tectonic plates, they are moving apart from each other, then that is called divergent movement. That boundary is called as divergent boundary. Okay, see, just 2 tectonic plates, they are moving away from each other. That type of movement is called as divergent movement. The boundary they are forming called as divergent boundary. Now I am thinking that, or I hope that these 2 movement you got into your mind. Now let us see what is this third one, transforming boundary. Let us think it over. Let us imagine that these 2 tectonic plates, they are moving towards each other horizontally. Sometimes they may collide with each other. So sometimes they may crumble and collide with each other, or one tectonic plates lie above the another. Are you getting into? See, in this, the boundary itself changing its shape and size. Say two tectonic plates, they are moving horizontally. Sometimes they may collide and crumble, and one tectonic plate might have been at the top of the another tectonic plate. Such a type of movement is called transforming movement or transforming boundary. Okay, these three types of movements. Will you please note down the question? Okay. See, what are the three types of tectonic plate movements? What are the three types of tectonic plates movements? Explain with a simple diagram. Explain with a simple diagram. I hope up to this you people clear. Let us go. How are the Himalayas formed? See, we have to raise one question. Today we are having the great sentinel in the north. You know that. Who is that a soldier mountain range? The Himalayas. How are the Himalayas formed? In order to give or get answer to that question, let us see what about the condition of the tectonic plates earlier, how that movement took place. Let us recall that there are two parts. One part, the southern full hemisphere or southern part, called by the name Gondwana land. See, all the southern part, including South America, Africa, Australia, India and Antarctica, all these together called as Gondwana land. So Gondwana land, it is the oldest landmass. So this Gondwana land formed with the help of all these places. Okay, what had happened? Due to the tectonic plate movements, this in the Gondwana land, one important plate. What plate? Indo-Australian plate. Indo-Australian plate separated from the Gondwana land. Let us imagine that Gondwana land, very big landmass, out of that one small, that is a plate, Indo-Australian plate separated. When this Indo-Australian plate separated, due to the tectonic activities, this Indo-Australian plate drifted towards north. Which side it moved? It moved to the northern part. When it moved to the northern part, which plate is there? Eurasian plate. Which plate? Eurasian. What do you mean by Eurasian plate? Europe plus Asia is equal to Eurasia. So that Eurasian plate at the north. Okay. Now what happened? This Indo-Australian plate drifted towards the north. There, who is there? That is the Eurasian plate is there. Now this Indo-Australian plate that hit the Eurasian plate. When it hit, there lies one, that is narrow elongated sea called by the name Tethys. What is the Tethys? Tethys is nothing but a geosyncline. Geosyncline means two huge, one narrow stretch of water separated by two landmass. Here two landmass, Indo-Australian plate and Eurasian plate. In between, who is there? The Tethys. So the Tethys, one geosyncline. Now it's quite interesting. When the Indo-Australian plate, it drifted towards the north. What had happened? When it is ready to hit this Eurasian plate from the Tethys, the sedimentary rocks, all the sedimentary rocks, they were ready to come out and buckled out and formed into the form of fold mountains, that is Himalayas. Are you getting into? Now Indo-Australian plate separated from the Gondwana land and drifted towards the north. In the north, another plate, Eurasian plate. Now when it is ready to hit that, one narrow sea called by the name Tethys. From that sea, the sedimentary rocks, they are with great force, they came out or buckled out and formed. Because of that great speed only, the mountain, it got its fold. That is why we are calling Himalayas the folded mountains. So the Himalayas formed out of that activity. So in such a way, the Himalayas are formed. So we are calling Himalayas folded mountains, young folded mountains. Why young folded? Because when you are seeing Himalayas, what are the features you are seeing? Snow covered mountains, one side snow, another side you are seeing that highest peaks in the world, another side we are seeing the beautiful valleys, glaciers, perennial rivers. These are all the features, they are the indicators to show that the Himalayas are not the old landform, it is a new landform. So it is a new landmass. Himalayas, that is why called as young folded mountains. Now, let us go for how are the northern plains formed. Because of the drifting of the Indo-Australian plate towards the north, I discussed that the Himalayas were formed or formed. Now after that, what had happened? When these sedimentary rocks buckled up, or that is what arose, then this area, that is one depression, means this area turned into be empty. When this area is emptied, then what had happened? All the rivers, starting from the Himalayas like Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra, all these perennial rivers in their long course, they brought alluvial soil and filled this depression. Very beautifully, all this depression filled by the Himalayan rivers, whereby we are having very important huge arc of land stretching from north, that is from east to west, the huge northern plain we got because of the filling of or deposition work of the Himalayan rivers like Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra. Because of this, that depression filled up and we got the northern plains. In such a way, northern plains are formed. Okay, so northern plains made up of what? Made up of alluvial soil. So the soil brought by the rivers called by the name alluvial soil, we know that. So the alluvial soil filled up there, so northern plain is beautifully formed. Okay. See, when we are talking about the third important landform or physical feature, that is the peninsular plateau. Already I told you that the peninsular plateau, it is the oldest landmass and made up of igneous and metamorphic rocks and treasure house of minerals. So from this, what idea we are getting? One side the Himalayas formed, another side the northern plains, another side we are having the peninsular plateau. So now we are going to enter into the main part of the lesson, physical features of India or the major physical features. When we are dividing India with the help of physical features, always we know that India is a land of different landforms, and regarding the two types of that is classification we can, one is macro level and another one is micro. That when we are talking about the macro level, 6 important type of physical features are there. See, regarding the major physical features of India, number 1, the great Himalayas. Number 2, the great northern plains. Number 3, the peninsular plateau. Number 4, the desert part. And number 5, eastern and western coastal plains. Another side, eastern and western Ghats. And last but not the least, the island groups. So these are all the main physical features. Once again, the great Himalayas in the north. Number 2, the northern plains. Number 3, peninsular plateau. Number 4, desert area. And number 5, eastern and western Ghat, eastern and western coastal plains. And the 2 island groups of India. These are all the very important physical features, and we have to feel proud that India is a land of different types of landforms. Let us discuss one by one in what detailed way. Before entering into that, I want to dig a little deeper Can you tell me what are the different types of tectonic movements? One side. Another side, try to write answer to the questions. Are you taking down? Yes. Number 1, how are the Himalayas formed? Question number 1, how are the Himalayas formed? Number 2, write the major physical features of India. Write the major physical features of India. See, now, see, when we are talking about the first major relief feature, the Great Himalayas. We know that the Great Himalayas, the northern side, covering, that is entire east to west or west to east in the map. So west to east, the entire area. How much kilometer? Near about 2,400 kilometer covered by that mountain range. And it width, that is vary from, in the west you can see that the width is near about 400 kilometer, but when you are reaching to the eastern side, the width is what? 150 kilometer. So the length, otherwise 2,400 kilometer, and width 400 kilometer to 150 kilometer. To understand about the Great Himalayas, we know that Pamir Nath, popularly known as the roof of the world. From there, so many mountain ranges they are forming and penetrating. So in this one of the range, the Karakoram range. Another side, we are in need of our point of discussion, the Great Himalayas. And what I want to discuss with you people, that when we are dividing Himalayas according to the longitude, there are 3, that is segments. What are the 3? Number 1, the Great Himalayas, or the Inner Himalayas, or the Himadri. So number 1, the Great or Inner or Himadri. Number 2, the second range is called Lesser Himalayas or Himachal. Why lesser? Lesser in height than that of the Great Himalayas. So we are calling it as Lesser Himalayas or Himachal. And number 3, very interesting, outermost layer of the Himalayas, otherwise called as Shivalik range. So how many ranges are there? 3 ranges are there. So number 1, the Great Himalayas or the Inner Himalayas or Himadri. Number 2, Lesser Himalayas, otherwise called Himachal. Number 3, Outer Himalayas or the Shivalik range. When we are talking about the Great Himalayas, from the name itself we could guess it out, Himadri. What do you mean by that? The abode of snow. Always that mountain range is covered with snow. That is why that path is called as Himadri. And the height also, more than 600 meters above the sea level. We know that the very important mountain peaks, like number 1, can you tell me which is the highest peak in the world? Yes, Mount Everest, correct. And then in which country this mountain peak lies? Is it in India or somewhere else? No, not in India, but it is in Nepal. We know that the Mount Everest, it lies in Nepal. So but it is the highest peak in the Himalayas, but that highest peak in Nepal lies in, that is what Mount Everest lies in Nepal. And in India, the highest mountain peak in the Great Himalayas, that is Karakoram range. It is in Sikkim, Karakoram range. It's the highest peak in the Himalayas in India. Don't confuse. So Karakoram, highest peak in the Great Himalayas, lies in India, but the world highest peak, Mount Everest, that lies in Nepal. Okay. Then when we are because we know that Mount Everest, its height is 8,858 meters above the sea level. So it is the highest peak in the world. And what are the points we have to keep in mind? Number 1, I told you that it is the abode of snow. So next, what imagination we are having? Yes, source of perennial rivers. We know that, noted for glaciers. Glaciers, what are the glaciers? the slow moving rivers of ice called as what? That is glaciers. So the perennial rivers formed out of the glaciers, perennial rivers, the rivers which are having water throughout the year. And during the summer season, because of the melting of the snow, the river is always flooded with water, and during the rainy season, out of rainwater, the river is getting to be flooded. So that such a type of rivers called as perennial rivers. So that perennial rivers formed, otherwise originated at where? That is from the Great Himalayas. Always you have to keep in your mind, whenever you are writing about the Great Himalayas, 3 points you have to keep in your mind. Number 1, place of highest peaks. Means there is Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, Nanda Devi, Nanga Parbat. So important mountain peaks lies in this range. This is number 1. And number 2, always covered with snow. So source of perennial rivers like Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra and Yamuna. So these are all the important rivers originated from the Great Himalayas. Not only that, the inner part of the Himalayas, Great Himalayas, made out of granite. And very interesting that it is not easily approachable. It is not accessible very easily, very difficult for us to reach there. So these are all the important points attached with what? The Great Himalayas. When we are coming to the next range, the Lesser Himalayas or Himachal, because it lies between, we know that very beautifully lies between the Great Himalayas and the Shivalik. And the height is lesser, near about 3,700 to 4,500 meters above the sea level. And then width is here 50 kilometer. There we know that the width is already, I told you that 400 to 150 kilometer. Here you are seeing the contrast that the width is what? Only 50 kilometer, and then the height is ranging from 3,700 to 4,500. And what about the importance? Very interesting that whenever we are talking about the Himachal noted for 2 important things, key points. What are the 2 important things? One side, we are having the beautiful valleys lies here, because you know that height and then here in between these 2, so possibilities are there to make the valleys. So beautiful valleys like Kulu, Kunlun and then Kashmir valleys lie in this range. So second range noted for what? Beautiful valleys. Number 2, very, very important, hill station. All important hill stations like Nainital, Shimla, Mussoorie, Darjeeling, all important hill stations lies in this second range. So first range, you have to keep in mind peak, and number 2, source of the rivers. And second range, you have to keep in mind 2 key points, that is a place of what? Important beautiful valleys, and another side a place of what? Beautiful, very important hill stations. Now we are, that is the summer season is going on, and you know that the importance of the hill stations. Am I right or not? So see, hill stations are very, very noteworthy. So those hill stations developed in this second range. Not only that, Pir Panchal range, one important range here, Pir Panchal, that also the very important, that is a subsidiary, that is a mountain range belonging to the inner Himalayas. Now, number 3, the outermost, the Shivalik range. The Shivalik range, from the picture itself you could guess it out, the Shivalik range made up of unconsolidated rock material. Why unconsolidated? Because of the rivers, they are coming and then depositing. Because of that continuous, that is depositing, that area is always loaded with what? Fresh unconsolidated rocks. So that area always prone to earthquake and landslide. Which part is prone to earthquake and landslide? That is the outermost area, Shivalik range, noted for what? Earthquake and landslide. Not only that, very interesting, this area also noted for dune. What do you mean by dune? Dune also nothing but valley only. We know that there are different types of valley. I-shaped valley, V-shaped valley, U-shaped valleys. Different types of valleys are there. But these dunes are nothing but longitudinal valleys. Longitudinal valleys means that is ekdam deep. That is, the valleys are running like this. Such a longitudinal valleys are called a dune. Now you can guess it out. What dune? Dehradun, You might have heard, no? From Andaman, so many children, they are selected by the forest department and they are going to get their training at where? Dehradun College. So Dehradun, the very important, that is a longitudinal valley. Dehradun, Kotli Dune, Patli Dune, all these important dunes lie in this Shivalik range. So Shivalik, can I repeat once again? That is Shivalik range, noted for longitudinal valleys and made up of unconsolidated rock. Actually, what about its length? That is very important, that 900 to 1100 kilometer. And what about its width? Only 10 to 50 kilometer. So you are having the variation, number 1 400 to 150, number 2 50, number 3 10 to 50 kilometer. So Shivalik range, that is the outermost, and number 2 lesser, you know that lesser Himalayas, I told you the 2 important points, noted for hill stations and then beautiful water valleys, and very important, our important heroine, the great Himalayas, noted for what? Very important highest peaks and then source of perennial rivers. Dear students, we would like to enter into the concluding part. There I would like to brush up your memory. What are the points we discussed as a quick recapitulation? Number 1, that is what are the different landforms and where we people are living and how these landforms are formed, and what is the role of the tectonic plates and what are the important 7 tectonic plates. Next we discussed how are the Himalayas formed. Next we discussed northern plains and formation of peninsular plateau as a quick recap. And next we discussed the major 6 physical features. There we discussed the first one, the Himalayas. That too I discussed only the longitudinal division. One more part is left over, that is the division of Himalayas on the basis of region. We will see that in the next class. I hope you enjoyed this class and try to write down, answer what are the questions I had given earlier. Thank you.